Ayush Mhatre, being from Mumbai, I'm asking you, how was the selection process? What was the inputs you got from home that he's a player from Mumbai, you wanted to look at him? And what did you find at the trials, and what was the selection process that you picked him?
Yeah, so we've had a few players through at our trainings, and he was a player that stood out. It's still very hard when you're in a net situation to get a true gauge of a player, but from a skill set, he was very impressive and a very composed young man, which is often just as important. So both MS and I were very impressed with the way he held himself together for the trial, and then when the opportunity came up, we've obviously got a view to the future, and he was a name that was pretty easy to pick. Probably the position we're in, and with the injury to Ruta, and with form for others, it made it quite an easy decision to get him in there, and a stage that seems big, but it's one that's familiar. So we banked on him being comfortable with his surroundings, and he certainly looked all that. So it was an impressive debut.
What makes these youngsters fearless? What goes into this? Because we saw Mhatre today.
Yeah.
It was Yadav, Surya, Farah, Sheikh Rashid in the previous game. So what is it about these youngsters, and what goes into them? And they just go after the bowling and show no fear.
Yeah, and that's right. I think there's examples all around the place where players are playing free. It's impressive, not always sustainable, but it's very impressive, and it's contagious. And what you're seeing is young players that are feeding off other performances, and I think their expectation of how they should play is going up, or at least it is being based on what others are doing, and that is creating quite a phenomenon. I still balance it with craft of the older players, so the mixture of having experience and these young players is probably the best mix, but certainly we're seeing a wave of young players in India that are just taking on the bowlers from ball one. Is it sustainable in tricky conditions? I don't know. Is the subtlety of the game going to keep growing? I'm concerned, but in terms of what they're bringing and how they're playing their first games, it is certainly impressive.
Just to continue, Mhatre was picked in the squad last Monday, and straight after 6 games, 6 days is in the 11. But how do the others feel in the squad who are already in the squad in the first place?
Well, in that position, we've lost Rudraj. Tripathi's form was under threat, put him under threat, and that's where the position lies. We've got other young players who are more suited down the order. We consider them, but both Sheikh and of course with Devon as well, who with the passing of his father, it was a position that was available and worth competing for. So that's why it presented itself.
How do you see the rest of the season from here? Will we see more experimentations, more younger players getting chances, and you'll probably have to win all the matches that we're going to play now. So, are you looking towards the future as well now with all the young players?
Yep, that's a fair point. It's hard, really, isn't it, when you're playing well below par to get enthusiastic about staying in the competition. But that's what we must do, and well beaten again today, and yes, there will be an opportunity. Nothing will be wasted during this tournament. We look back at other tournaments that haven't gone our way, and some of the work we've done in the back end of tournaments have set us up for wins the following year. So we're realistic about the position that we're in, but there will be no stone unturned looking for players for next year, combinations for next year, and we'll see it as an opportunity. Not a great opportunity, because we want to be at the pointy end of the competition, but if it works out that there is no chance of us getting through, we'll certainly make the most of it.
Yeah, Coach, do you think that the team factors impacted most in the second innings when the bowling, especially when the spinners were there?
It wasn't too bad, to be fair, and there was certainly some turn. Mitch Satner turning the ball, he's not a big turner of the ball, but Mitch Satner turning the ball gave us some optimism. But you had two very good players of spin, and whilst there was a little bit of assistance, they just nullified that with some very, very fine stroke play. Surya Kumar just took our spinners out of play. And that's fine batting, so we can wax lyrical about the young players, but a couple of old hands played two very good innings there on what could have been a tricky chase. But we're just not accurate enough. The start we gave them, and just in the field, a couple of half chances that ballooned around. We needed to take wickets to allow our spinners to get into the game, and unfortunately we just couldn't break through. And when you get a partnership, everything looks easier than what it potentially is. So that was the case today, just two old hands doing it really well and playing superior cricket.
Coach, your assessment about the ball change rule that's been introduced, do you think it's...
I think it's going okay. I wasn't sure about it at the start, but if it just helps to even the playing field in that back end, there is dew, and I think we might start to get some more dew in venues as we get further into the competition. So I hope it does even it up. It's a shame if it comes down to the toss, even though the players will talk about still trying to get a score on the board. Whatever. There is an advantage when dew does hit, so I hope it does help even it up. I've enjoyed seeing reverse swing come back into the game. It's good to see death bowlers having an opportunity to protect games. I think that's been good, and just help balancing up the competition between bat and ball.
Hi, Coach.
Hey.
Do you think the partnership between Shivam Dube and Ravindra Jadeja, they were perhaps a little bit too cagey? Because MS in one of the games a few games ago had said that you didn't have the kind of lineup to score 60 in the power play. But today we saw not as many runs scored in the middle overs until they went after Ashwini and Bolt in the end.
Yeah, maybe. It was certainly, compared to the innings we watched the second half, there could have been more proactivity. They did feel that the ball was stopping, which made it difficult. But yeah, we need to be more proactive all the way through. We're not trying to play a conservative brand of cricket. We're just lacking a little bit of confidence, and we're just changing personnel through one reason or another. So we're just trying to find a tempo that's going to help us compete. And at the moment, we might get it right in one area, but other areas are letting us down. So we're plugging holes in one spot, but it's still leaking in others. And that can often be the case when you're just a little bit down on fortune. But we'll just keep plugging away, trying to get it right. And if not, as I said, we'll turn our attention to unearthing players and trying to free up for the rest of the season.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, guys.